So over the last couple of months with the announcement and release window trailer for Crimson Desert, there's been a lot of hype around this game. And obviously with all the hype surrounding it, there's been a lot of critics and a lot of naysayers who think that whatever the game is promising can't be done. But recently, Pearl Abyss, the studio behind the game, not only came out and addressed these concerns, but blew them out the water entirely. They released multiple trailers going over the features that are going to be in the game and answering questions like multiple protagonists, combat overview, exploration, game progression, and the overall identity of the game. And I think they did a really good job. After watching the third features overview trailer, dude, I don't know what the fuck to say, honestly. They showed off so much in that trailer that I'm just like, bro, how is that even possible that you can do all this shit in the game? The amount of RPG elements I saw in this trailer was ridiculous, bro. I was getting flashes of The Witcher, Baldur's Gate, Red Dead Redemption 2, shit, even Manor Lords, bro. I really like how they're imagining being a mercenary and being able to help around your camp, whether that being through doing jobs to get money, to get better equipment and better materials, sending out some of your band members to go get materials or do missions to get money for the camp, going into town and doing random things like playing card games, getting into arm wrestling matches, getting into brawls in a pit for money. It looks really good. It looks really good and I'm impressed. And I'm no video game savant by any means, but I've been playing games for a really long time and I know games that look really good and have a lot of promise when I see them. And for me, like, I feel like this game has the opportunity to be right there with Game of the Year. However, there are some concerns I do have, not major, but just some things to keep in mind. With a project this ambitious, I'm curious to see what the performance is going to be like, and I'm really eager to see how they optimize the game, because not too long ago, if you guys are familiar with Dragon's Dogma 2, that game looked similar to this in some aspects, not as robust, but looked similar, and when it came out, the developers were like,
yeah, the game is locked at 30.
It's like 30 frames, bro. And that game looked stunning, but it's like, it wasn't unplayable, but it was kind of unplayable because the game was so buggy. And for me, I bought that game day one, which was a mistake, but I was so enticed by it. I was just like, dude, this shit looks really fun. And it was fun. But the deal breaker for me was the performance, the lack of direction with the mechanics, with the story. It just wasn't enough for me to continue playing it. And I really don't want this game to fall into the trap of trying to be that jack of all trades type of title where we can have you doing 10 different things at one time. We have a robust map with this overarching narrative. Like, it doesn't have to be that. Could it be that? Yes. But if it's going to sacrifice the most important thing, which is the performance, then I say just hang your hat on one or two things and go from there. And I point this out as a concern because as they've been showing the various amounts of features that this game is going to have, you can only question as the player and being realistic, like, how is this gonna all come together in terms of like, how is this gonna affect performance, if at all, right? Because if they come out and say this game is gonna be locked at 30 frames per second, no matter what's in the game, it's gonna dilute the product for me. Because yeah, most games are in 30 frames per second, and if you're on console, that's kind of the norm. But with a game this size, it's gonna be very noticeable, and that can, I wouldn't say ruin your experience, but it's gonna be, bro, it's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be as fun as it should be. And I think the story of the last few years has been optimization. You know, there's been a lot of ambitious projects that have all fallen short because of poor optimization, right? You could have 100,000 features available to me, but if I can't play the game smoothly, it doesn't matter, right? Because to be honest, internally, they know what the game is going to hit. They know what the target is. So hopefully it's just something that's reasonable and allows for a smooth to semi-smooth experience that, you know, doesn't really affect or hinder your experience as a player. And I think those are the only major concerns, is the optimization and the scale of the game. You know, and I do want to give this studio the benefit of the doubt because this looks really good so far, and you don't want to just hate to hate, right? The game looks good. It looks like it's on track to be a good game, a good candidate for Game of the Year, and you wish them the best. But on the flip side, as gamers, we've been burned for the last consecutive years now, and it's really hard to kind of just look at it for what it is wholeheartedly and be like, oh yeah, this is for sure going to be a banger, because we don't know that. We really don't know that. So time will tell, and we'll know for sure in a couple of weeks. But I'm really excited for this game. I think right now Pearl Abyss's main focus should be the day one release of this game, making sure it's not 100% clean, because that'll never happen with any game, but making sure it's 85 to 90, 95% clean of any game breaking bugs like that. But just making sure that this game is as spotless as possible when it comes to performance. If the performance isn't going to be that great, I think is like the most important thing on their list right now. If they can do that and release this game with a minuscule amount of bugs, I think they're in a really good position to be contenders for Game of the Year. Now, as for the story and the lore, we can get more into that later, but right now, in terms of the overall game itself, this looks really, really, really good. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, and just like what stands out to you when you look at the trailers for this game. Like, what are you most excited about? What are your concerns about the game? And like, what do you think overall? What is your opinion on the game? Let me know in the comments. And as always, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So I'll catch you in the next one.